Now that we know why we're doing this, let's move on to customer research. When creating a product, it's super important to know who your customer is. Who are they, and what is your audience's itch? What wakes them up in the middle of the night from a bad dream? What keeps them from getting back to sleep? Have you ever noticed that while your nightmare may be about a darkened dungeon in a creepy castle, you wake up and the thought running through your mind is taxes? While completely unrelated, the one is probably driving the other. So what you have to do is figure out what it is that wakes up your audience in the middle of the night. What is a common problem throughout your niche that you can solve for them? Using an analogy, let's say that you've got some sort of itch or rash. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the pharmacy and you're going to find a product that takes care of it. So the question is, what is your customer's itch? Once you know that, you can show them that you have the magic cream or powder that can fix that itch. But the magic powder might not just be a pill they can swallow. It might have 8 instructions to be applied over the next 4 weeks. In addition to having the magic powder or magic cream, you're going to have to convey to your audience that you will be able to show them how to use it correctly to get rid of the itch once and for all. Your goal is to take them from that state of insecurity or uncertainty, the itch, to that feeling of, I got this, where they can then instinctively solve for X when the situation should arise in the future. You'll do this by positioning yourself as the expert and demonstrating results. You then become the one person who can solve their burning itch. I suppose the next logical question is, how do you find out what your customer's itch is? When I created my first product, it was for the lifestyle by design niche in the real estate investing arena. I had read the 4-Hour Workweek and made some adjustments to my business model, and I just assumed that everybody would want to quit their job and travel the world on a semi to full-time basis and have automated income. And while there may have been a few takers for that, and the numbers for that type of lifestyle do seem to be growing, the reality was the majority of people were much more interested in paying for childcare, bringing their wife home, and growing some sort of nest egg. So talk about Thailand, spending less, learning new languages, and self-development to the next level might have struck a chord with like 2 out of 10 people at best. What I needed to know rather was who my customer really was. Okay, look, you can niche it down and you can sell to that small segment, but what's your goal here? Do you want to help a lot of people? If that small segment is millions of people, then great. I would say still go for what you're looking at. But the real estate market, if you want to sell info products, 5 a day for $100 each or whatever it's going to be, then you need to be able to attack as big a market as possible. You need an audience. So how do we figure that out? Okay, well, this is often done by creating what's called a customer avatar. And you may have heard that mentioned before on some marketing, book or tape or whatever, but we're going to get into it here. Let's get into customer avatar. So what is a customer avatar? A customer avatar is a description of your potential and current customers. It's usually done in some sort of document, but it can be done on a mind map as well. Your avatar will describe every detail about your customer in as many different ways as possible. That's the goal of it, okay? There's no real cut and dry way to do this, but that's the goal. The best way I found to define your avatar is to ask yourself a series of questions whose answers then create the overall representation of your customers. So, what are the questions that you should ask yourself in order to figure out who your customer is? Well, the first thing I look at when creating an info product or any other type of product is, what does your customer look like? And a lot of times people just answer, they look like someone that buys my product. That would be wrong, okay? They're more than that. There's someone that does X during the day and does X at night, and probably has a narrow preference to many things such as, do they drive a Toyota or a Mercedes? Do they drink beer or do they drink champagne? Do they shop at Banana Republic or do they shop at Gucci? A bit of a shortcut to this process to compare them with a TV or a movie character that best defines them. Which TV character might they resemble? Which movie character? Are they a man or a woman? Do they have kids? Are they married or are they single? For the NicheBuilder product, it might be someone like Jim, Andy, or Michael Scott on The Office. They're working at a job but secretly wishing to automate some of their life and possibly leave their job by working a side income until it takes over. Those characters, though, might not be the best because they seem pretty happy at the paper company for 10 years, whatever it was. But you see what I'm getting at. It's important to be brutally honest with yourself about who your customer is. Spend a little time brainstorming on this subject. Nothing is off limits. Just write it all down either on paper or on your computer. I like paper because it's less limiting and you're less likely to delete something that might prove later to be gold. Sometimes we tend to think our customers are more like we are than they really are. And this is understandable because we're usually building products or services that help us solve a problem or automate a process in our lives. But with that comes the adverse, which is not everyone you're talking to has the same level of background that you do in a particular subject. For instance, John has a hard time believing that FTP and DNS settings could be difficult for anyone. For him, these items are as easy as tying his shoes. But for me, on the other hand, I cringe when I hear either of those terms. I want nothing to do with them. I just want to put content on the internet and sell stuff. I don't want to re-engineer the internet. Hence, people are different. The reason that you want to have your customer avatar in mind is because you're going to talk to them or that persona on a one-on-one basis as you create your product and sales letter. You also want to build a customer avatar document. Here's an example of a customer avatar we built for a home-based tanning product you can use in your shower. And this is one for shower tan. And then so we went through and we talked about it. One of the people in our office had looked at doing a shower tan business and was marketing a product on the internet about shower tans, and we were looking at doing something with it. And so we put together this document and we were just bouncing questions back and forth, and we came up with this avatar of this person that would really need and could, I don't know, needs a strong word for tanning, but would really benefit from this product. Let's say that. Bear with here because this person doesn't seem like the greatest person at the end of the day, but I think it's important that you're honest with yourself about who they are. So what's her name? We came up with Nikki, Ashley, and Megan. What's her income level? Well, we decided that, her husband probably has a good job. She's probably a housewife of some sort, maybe no kids. Where does she live? Well, she lives in Lincoln, Nebraska, and there's a 90% chance that she's already spray tanned. She's definitely used a tanning bed before. She probably has highlights in her hair in an attempt to look different and darker. She wears obnoxious jewelry, probably crosses and crystals. She wears True Religion jeans. She's probably involved in some type of sports, but as I'm recording this here, I've seen some sports lately. They have something here in Seattle called Underdog Sports, and they do kickball. So I'm going to say that she's probably a kickball player. She's a size 10 to 14 in women's sizes. She's female. She's mid-20s to mid-40s. Let's just call her 30. She's looking for less radiation. This is why she would be motivated to go with the shower tan. She's looking to solve the equation of tanning at home. Why does she want to tan at home? Well, because she doesn't want to go to the salon. She doesn't feel comfortable getting naked in front of somebody else. That's how they do it at the salons. You strip down and then they spray out. Not that I've done it, but I think I watched so many videos on this when we were getting ready to do this product. Of course, they were wearing bikinis, but they're insecure. They don't want to spend a lot of money on tanning. They're curious about home tanning. Is the quality at home as good? They might need to be tanned for an event. Now, they're probably overweight, but that could be barely overweight to very overweight. They have imperfections. They have cellulite, acne, dry, blotchy skin. They probably have significant body hair. They're probably spending money on that as well. And, they probably have a significant beauty budget each month, and they're looking for ways to reduce that. But they do have the mindset that to be beautiful, they have to spend. They have no problem completely rationalizing irrational beauty spending. They spend out of boredom or for entertainment. There is entertainment value in this. They could do something like a wine, friends, tanning party. It might cut down on their loneliness. These might be toys for rich girls. And then we just kind of brainstormed a little bit more. Is she lazy? Probably. Is she sloppy? Yeah, she's kind of sloppy. She's obsessed with looking beautiful, but doing very little to make herself more attractive outside of quick fixes. So there's some brutally honest portrayals of who this person might be, and it's important for you to be just as brutally honest about your customer avatar. And I don't necessarily mean that you have to create them, or paint them in a negative light. I just think you've got to know who this person is. So let's look at creating your avatar.